Good morning. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm great. I'm great. I love Thursdays. I love our Q&As.
Yeah, Q&A Thursdays. Here we are yet again. Um, Anything you want to share before we get started?
Um, I've had a very busy week. That's everything I can think of.
Yes.
It's been an extraordinary week, and I have to remind myself I get to, and
Yeah, yeah.
it definitely helps me to keep going and doing everything that I do, which most of the stuff that I do I really love. So
Right, right, right. Yeah, no, I mean, I love that you said that because life can be very full and we can be juggling so many different balls just in one week. I know that my start to the week was like looking down the week saying, "Oh, I have this, I have that, I have the other thing."
right,
And it can feel overwhelming, but reminding ourselves that we get to do these things and that it's really based in our desire, right? We have a
right.
we have a vision for where we're moving toward and what we want to do. And so we're very lucky to be able to get to do that. So, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
let's get started, shall we?
Sure, of course. Let's get started. Let's do this Q&A. All right. So this is the first question that we received.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna read it out loud. I've worked on myself and changed, but I'm still surrounded by people who suck me back into old behavior patterns. How do I make new friends who are more aligned with who I am today? And I think probably most people at some point in their lives are going to encounter this type of situation where they've outgrown their friends because maybe, we grow, we evolve, and there can be a divergence of interests. And so I think it's a common thing for people to kind of deal with. Um, So, what I would say in terms of a response is, to engage in activities that match your interests and your values. So, it could be, joining a club, taking a class, um, you know, could be a fitness class, could be a book club. And being in these environments will increase your chances of meeting like-minded people, right?
I definitely agree with you. I think that as adults, I think that there's a stage where you have friends because you have kids, and once the kids grow up, then sometimes you don't have the same interests. I mean, you're not soccer moms anymore, or baseball dads, or coaching, or going to the games, or anything like that. And so I think that a lot of times that point between the empty nest and the heading towards retirement, your goals shift, right? And so you start focusing on different things. And I think that this is the best time for people to start um, going back to, hey, what did I give up that I'm still interested in and that I want to do? And I think that your recommendation is spot on. Join a group, go to some classes, or um, do some work with charitable organizations, volunteer. I think that people we always say if when you give, it's so filling, it's so gratifying because it just opens up who you are, and it reveals to you that you are kind, that you are open to helping other people, and that I think that it shifts you. When you start to help others, you start to realize how good you actually have it, how
Mm,
fortunate you are. So you increase your gratitude, which, like I always say, you increase your gratitude, you increase your immune system, right?
Absolutely. And, for sure, when we give, we receive. It's actually one of the secrets of longevity is to volunteer, to be in community, and to do what you can to serve others. So that's a a great tip. And, for those of us who are kind of a little introverted, it can be challenging to put yourself out there, but it will be worth the effort to overcome those challenges of, kind of feeling shy, feeling like, you don't want to or you don't feel comfortable putting yourself out there. But, taking the leap, being proactive, and forming new connections in these new environments is essential.
Right. I think that I I I know that there's a lot of events on Facebook that you can participate in, and there's also meetups for different interests. Whether it's uh, a networking event where it's purely networking for socializing and not specifically for work, but networking for the arts or theater or mindfulness, meditation. Those are things that people can look at. For
Yeah, yeah, and delving into the things that really draw you in and interest you. It really is about perhaps getting out of your comfort zone and getting involved. And then when it comes to, you know, encounters with your friends who are not aligned, it's important to, like the graphic says, be intentional with your energy. You know, if you come away from a gathering with certain friends and you find that it's an energy drain, that you feel depleted, that you feel down, um, that's a good thing to look at and consider really just minimizing that exposure as you cultivate new friendships and new environments to be in that are uplifting and make you feel good at the end of that time together.
right, that setting the boundary with your existing and old connections is really important because you know we're a work in progress, and we're not all going towards the destination on the same route. And so when you feel restricted by them, they're also feeling something. They might feel judgment. It may create resentments because they may feel judged by you. They may feel that you're starting to reject them in some way. And so I think it's important that you start that you're gentle and that you say, I'm just a little bit more interested in this, and I need to spend more time with this, and be gentle when you start to spend less time with the people that are more interested in things that you're no longer interested in, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
It might be you don't want to be in the book club anymore. You don't want to be, you don't want to sit around, talking about old issues and old memories. You want to focus on your future, whatever it is.
Yeah, and sometimes it's around the habits of getting together, if it's around food or drinking and your priorities have shifted, maybe you're more focused on um, having, you know, healthy nutrition, you're changing the way that you eat and you get sucked back in on a regular basis into habits that you no longer want to engage in. That's challenging. And like if you're wanting to give up wine, then and the meetup always involves, you know, drinking, that's another it's another divergence. that I think
Mm-hmm.
we need to be aware of and give ourselves permission to communicate
Mm-hmm.
that, hey, can we gather around something else? Can we take a hike instead? Can we, you know, do another activity, meet at the museum or just something different that can so that you can spend the time but not engage in the activity that you have decided you don't want to engage in anymore.
Yeah, and you might be surprised. Your friends might be interested in doing some of the other things, and they just haven't been able to say something. There might be a couple of people that are like, you know what, that'd be a great idea. Oh, I'd love to do something different, and they just haven't voiced it. So, be the lead. Be the lead.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to our next question, unless you had something else that you wanted to add to.
Nope, not at all. Go for it.
All right. I really like this question because I think as adults, again, the same thing that you're not involved outside of your community and you're limited to the people that you are meeting, and everybody's constantly, if you have a W-2, you're at work, and this is who you're mostly socializing with. And so this does come up, and this is, somebody was kind enough to ask this. I'm falling in love with someone at work. What should I do? And and right off the cuff, I would say you need to step away from that. I think for me, it's like if you're attracted with towards someone at work, there's something missing. That you might be attracted because you're missing something, and that whatever that missing is what you need to delve into instead of flaming the fire there. But and I will put up the recommendations, but I think that you have something to add before we go into that graphic.
Well, I think that sometimes people are so involved with their careers, right? That they
Right.
spend all of their time in that work environment. And it's like, well, where else are you going to meet people? Right.
Right.
So that, I have a lot of compassion for that scenario because it's like, all right, these are the people that I'm being exposed to, that I'm working with. So I can understand where it could happen, where it might happen, but I certainly caution against it, like you said, because um, yeah, that could lead to a lot of issues down the road. It's just uh, like my personal rule would be to not get involved with anyone that I'm working with. Of course, this hasn't been an issue for me for many, 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 many years. Um, but I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. However, for those that are experiencing some sort of attraction at work, right? The top recommendations, right? Keep your emotions in check and assess the potential impact on your professional life. So what's it going to look like at work, right? When you start that relationship.
Yeah, I mean, because there's the relationship between the two people, but dynamics will change and shift. Uh, if you go public with the relationship, and then there's always the chance that it'll go south, and then it's really awkward to go back into that workplace and have to see that individual on a regular basis. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that the top things are, keep the emotions in check, and as the graphic says, set your boundaries and maintain uh, professionalism. And if you pursue, you have to be mindful of company policies. In fact, uh, I actually recently had a client that was let go because they didn't tell their boss that they were dating. And she got let go because she was newer. And it does happen. In fact, one of my friends, she manages a, a huge staff, and she recently had an incident again where she wasn't told that she's the owner, and she wasn't told about the relationship. And from the perspective of um, the boss will look at it much more as a huge conflict, right? For them, it is a conflict of interest because whether you like it or not, you're going to be spending some energy and some attention that should be dedicated to being at work for work purposes towards that relationship, whether you think so or not. I mean, there's going to be an increase in water cooler talk or coffee breaks or extended lunches and oops, sorry we're late, and things like that. And what you said about the worst case scenarios, right? That these things will happen. These things will happen. And like you said, the breaking up. I mean, so now are you gonna? Really think about it. You're gonna break up, and then what are you gonna do? You're gonna still work with that person, or are you gonna go to a different company? Can you go to a different company? Maybe you should move to the different company and then date that person if that's already an option, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my overall sense, um, really recommendation would be to avoid it, to avoid having relationships in.
It's a big no over here. It's a big no. We want to be nice. We want to be gentle, but just don't do it.
Yeah. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. I think for both of us, I think it's a big no. I think that when you're as experienced or mature or as old as we are, and you just don't see anything. The risk is just so high, and you just don't see any benefit from it. And it's not that it doesn't happen that you don't fall in love at work and that it becomes a fantastic relationship, but the odds are against you. You know.
I agree. I actually feel like I only know one couple who met at work and made it work, and
Mhm.
and it was fine and continues to be fine. But yeah, not that many, not that many, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, well, those are the two questions for today. We don't want to, go over time. And just a brief Q&A for us. But, thank you for listening.
Yeah, and if anyone listening needs support, please reach out to us. You can DM us directly. We're here to help.